is an element of trying to scare people. We look at Just Stop Oil, and I think they're probably very genuinely sincere in their beliefs, and there may be things in their beliefs that things could potentially turn bad at some stage. But equally, that sometimes you think that there's always been people who say the end is coming and the end is nigh because of climate or because of other things, and it hasn't yet happened. But nor do I think it will. Which is not to say we should go on pumping out, for example, diesel fumes and all the other dangerous fumes into the atmosphere. So I don't think we're privy to the full information. I guess we can look into it as you obviously have. And my perhaps in conclusion, I would say that I think there's something in this. I think we have to be thoughtful and careful, and very often it's a good way of cleaning up our act anyway. To get better technology, cleaner technology, because there are risks if we don't do that. But ultimately, as I say, I believe that nature will win the day, and that we just do the best we can. We're on this planet fighting to survive. That's what one of our main drivers, as I said before, and we've got to try to do the right things by the planet itself as well. So yeah, there's clearly something in climate change, whether it is as desperate that we have to, shut down greenhouse gases, etc., by 2030 and then 2050. We don't know. I don't think anybody knows really.
Yeah. It's definitely frightening. It's just, with all the disinformation out there, that people are sharing,
Yeah.
you don't really know what to believe. And then that's where I sort of switched off, really, lost interest. I thought, you know what?
Mm.
If they're not going to tell us what's really going on, I'm not interested, because at the end of the day, there's really nothing we can do about it. We're not going to stop.
No.
We're not going to stop using or traveling by air or not traveling by road, for instance. And then we're talking about going fully electric. We're still going to be mining lithium, aren't we? One way, one way or the other. We don't,
Yeah.
we're not in a position to win this battle, really. And that's why I thought, you know what, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, you know, as long as we're still breathing, yeah, we still
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
still
That's
stand a
true.
chance. That's it. That's it, really. Because we can't live. We can live in fear and then restrict ourselves of, things that we should be enjoying. Life, for instance. Anyway, so. There's this news about this. Well, it's an old news really, but I just thought it's a feel good factor kind of news where so this seagull, I don't know if you ever heard of a seagull competition?
Seagull.
Yeah.
No.
Right. So I can see you're
No, I
gonna
haven't.
you're gonna enjoy this already. So a 9-year-old British boy traveled to Belgium, to a coastal town in Belgium called Deepane, to compete in the it's an annual seagull screeching competition. Trevor, can you do a seagull screeching? I
Nope.
don't.
I've never tried though, and I don't think I will.
Yeah, and it actually made the news. And this is one of those ones where you ask me, well, was this actually in the news? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was actually in the news. And the boy actually was invited to the BBC studio. And he actually did it. He went, "Grr," and it would you couldn't tell a single sound apart from the boy doing it. It was that good.
Wow.
So I can understand how we won. and he actually did it. He went, "Grr," and it would you couldn't tell a seagull sound apart from the boy doing it. It was that good.
Wow.
So I can understand how we won. Um, but it's one of those things where you think, is there actually a seagull screeching competition anywhere in the world, let alone in a country in Europe where and how do you get the contestants together?
And who judges them? Who says, well, that was a better screech than the
Seagull,
other one? So,
probably a
yeah, how
seagull.
weird.
A seagull
Weird.
does the judging. They
I mean,
bring
it's been in the
the
news. It's been in the news, I think, these last few days or a week or so ago, that in some towns and cities, even not just on the sea,
yeah.
seagulls are becoming a real danger. I mean, they take people's food and they dive bomb people. So, I mean, they're not the friendliest creatures anyway, are they?
No, no.
They're
And
really
there was,
not.
there was something there was something in the news recently. I think it was about 3 or 4 days ago, where a seagull, there's something called a seagull insurance. So when you go to a
Yeah.
seaside, oh, did you see that?
Well, yeah, I didn't see that, but I know there is such a thing.
That was the first time I heard of it. And so when you purchase your meal or food or chicken and chips at the seaside, they'd ask you if you wanted to take out.
So they replace it if it's stolen. Yeah, I know. Sounds a good one. Crazy days.
The seagulls are there going, we made it into the news twice in one year.
Ridiculous.
They must have their own Olympics.
I don't think so, Emmy. I don't think so, cuz.
Who can snatch the most food
Yeah,
and the
well, they
fa-
really do.
and the
They really do.
fastest? This
Yeah,
these guys are really, really, they're really, really professionals when it comes to snatching your food. They even take ice creams. I don't know how they handle that with the one
yeah,
with the cone.
yeah,
They'll snatch it off your hands.
yeah. They do. Shocking.
Some of them probably got diabetes and stuff like that. They're probably on insulin. Some of them are probably going to the doctors, going, right, are you on insulin yet? No, I'm still managing mine. Got type 2. High blood pressure and all that. Right. So there's this other one about the I don't know if you saw it. It was years ago when Nelson Mandela died, and I think it was his funeral, and there was a
Mm.
lot of dignitaries there. I think Barack Obama was one of them, and they had somebody do the sign language for the deaf.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And you know, it was just
He
one of
just
my
made
mates.
it up, didn't he? He
Yeah.
invented it. Ridiculous.
One of my mates said he was doing gang signs.
Yeah, I mean, how on earth could he have been given that job to sign for people, for deaf people? Crazy, isn't it?
I know, I know.